Hello, everybody. This is Bart Schulman from Vectura. I'm here with Curtis Salisbury today. Curtis is a strategic advisor with the ICI group that's helping Vectura with investigations. We're going to talk a bit about what Curtis does on a day-to-day basis and learn more about his interesting life and hopefully hear some really interesting stories. With that, Curtis, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Curtis Salisbury. I'm with the ICI Group, founder and president, and it's just a pleasure to be here and looking forward to it.
Curtis, I'm going to start you out with a softball.
Okay.
What got you started into the cargo theft investigation business? How in the world did you end up here?
It's that turnip truck story where you fall off a turnip truck and find yourself someplace.
Completely fair.
Jeff Hall, the legend in the industry, was assigned to a case down in Mexico of a stolen yacht, and then they had some other stuff. But that came after he was actually the investigator, and I was a consultant for a mining operation down in Mexico.
Oh, boy.
And one of the bad guys had stolen some very valuable equipment. And they assigned Jeff to come down and interview me because I was running the operation down there. And we just became friends. He heard me speaking Spanish and then Portuguese that same day. And he said, boy, we could really use somebody in Latin America, and I'm not interested. And then he took me on a trip and said, will you translate for me? It was about a month and a half, 2 months later. We went looking for that yacht. And when we were done, he said, buddy, whenever you have an opening, let me know, because I really enjoy this. And I had a lot of fun with it. So that's kind of how I got started in the industry.
From mining to investigation.
Yeah, well, it's a common thing. Most people go to school to the mining industry, Colorado School of Mines,
No?
And then they go into investigations immediately. I'm messing with you.
I didn't realize that. That's new to me. I appreciate that, Curtis. No, but it is an interesting background.
Yeah.
But I think you chose your passion, which is a wonderful thing, and it comes out in everything you say.
Yeah, I was serving on a task force. I was a citizen member of a task force with CT-PAT at the time, and so that's how I got some information. So anyway,
fair enough. So what drew you to the field was just the curiosity about.
It was just a lot of fun. We just had a ball, and I was with Jeff Hall. How can you not have fun being with Jeff Hall? And then anyway,
we'll have another segment at some point on the driving history of Jeff Hall as part of our next.
I don't know that we have enough time.
Well, not today. No, we're not going to do that today. But yeah, that'll be another conversation we have later. We hear about all these strategic thefts and all this kind of stuff. So what's the most common method thieves use to steal cargo from a truck?
Well, it's still straight theft, and straight theft being that where the bad guy's involved and he's just going to go steal something. And straight theft in the United States and Canada typically is a driver has put something in the wrong spot. He left his vehicle on his rig unattended, and people steal it. The strategic theft issue, which is a lesser percentage, but very, very, they're just really bad guys, but really smart bad guys. And that's where they fool someone else to go steal it for them. Fictitious pickups, misdirection of freight. They'll falsify documents. They'll buy an MC number. So there's any number of ways they do it.
Yeah, and again, that's a topic at some point we'll probably go into more depth on. But I just, I have not been in the industry long personally. I just find the whole thing fascinating, the amount of different ways and creative ways that people steal. It's I always say, and people laugh at me, if they'd use that for good, what could they have done? But
absolutely.
But that's what it is. What cargo is targeted by thieves? If you look out there and you go, hey, who's stealing what? What are they stealing? What do you need to be worried about?
Yeah, I think from a percentage of the amount of cargo stolen, and it's just a very common statistic, it's food and beverage. Food and beverage is so easy to steal for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's not considered really a high value load. It doesn't have the kind of moniker on it that say a server would or pharmaceuticals or any of those types of other things we see that are such high value loads, military equipment. The biggest thing that you see is just food and beverage. And because once it's out of the care, custody, and control of that trucker, they know the insurance company, everybody else they're going to get rid of it. They have to destroy it. It's out of the care, custody, and control, and it's got to be gone. So that's the number one for that reason, and it's really easy to get rid of. Really easy to put online, black market, go to a swap meet for that matter, and sell a 6-pack of whatever. So yeah.
Well, how do you think technology has impacted the industry? Whatever technology you want to think about. I mean, I'll leave that open to you with your experience.
Sure. I think let me give you an example of technology from a negative standpoint and from a positive standpoint.
Love it.
There is you could buy back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, you could buy from China for $250, $200. You could buy a jammer, a GPS jammer. And with all my work in Latin America, you could see right there in Mexico, you'd see they turn that jammer on and all of a sudden it's jamming the signal. So it just disappears from a GPS, especially when you're using older technology of GPS. And so they could easily block the signal. What's gotten worse now is they're using these jammers that are spoofing. So they're not only saying, I've got a case I did where you can see the video of the driver plug it in, he pulls up 9 to 12 antennas, and it's blocking people for a certain radius. But that spoofer can also tell you, you think he might be on what's a common freeway here? Give me two here in Chicago.
Let's say I-95.
So you're on I-95, and what's another freeway that goes the other way?
I-66.
Okay, so you're on I-66 and you're being hijacked, and they got a spoofer in there. Next thing you know, it tells you that you're really on the other highway. And so it can really create some points of deception when you're looking at a straight theft hijack. We don't get that type of theft here in the United States or Canada like you do in Mexico, Brazil, Central America. But yeah, from a negative standpoint, it's that spoofing device that I see a lot of down there. From a positive standpoint, there's some really cool technologies out there that are aiding, and I want to be careful how much I talk about how we battle that side of
Absolutely.
it.
Got to be careful.
But there's some really cool stuff out there that can tell you somebody doesn't even realize how they found them. And you're talking everything from cameras to satellite to devices that are just amazing stuff. And there's some great organizations out there that you can get that type of technology or services through.
Absolutely. No, it's definitely a growing industry and very interesting. When you think about cargo crime itself, we often hear, we're in Chicago, one of the hearts of organized crime in their history, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how much organized crime versus, just run-of-the-mill, convenient criminal kind of activity is there in the cargo theft game today?
Yeah, well, years ago, it used to be, if you had a Slim Jim to unlock the door and a couple of guys are going to steal a truck and there's a van and there's some stuff in it, they don't even know what's in it. Nowadays, they are major corporations with chief operating officers, CEOs, financial geniuses. There are people that are so good at what they do, and they have developed such crafty ways to steal that they can deceive a big trucking company to go pick up a load for them. And in the process of doing that, that big trucking company has just made the theft so simple. And then they'll say, oh, we got another load. We got an emergency. Can you stop by this cross dock, pick up another trailer, and go? These are major organized crimes. They're in Armenia, they're in Russia, they're in Ecuador, they're in Southern California, they're in Chicago, wherever. They're all bad guys when they're bad guys. When they've decided to do that, and there are major organized crimes, they're operating call centers that go and bid on either a load board, or they'll buy an MC number from an unwitting owner of that trucking company. So they're just really good at what they do, and they're constantly shifting.
Well, tell me a little bit. You mentioned MC number a couple times for people listening. What does an MC number do? Why would I buy one? What's the process?
It's a motor carrier permit. It's permission to haul. Obviously, you've got the federal DOT number, Department of Transportation. But you can buy. Unfortunately, the laws aren't set yet, and it's in progress. I mean, Scott Cornell of Travelers knows an awful lot about that. There's a lot of folks in the industry. But the bottom line is that I've got a case that I did. Pick up the phone. Some bad guys call this guy out of Kansas, and he's selling his tractor and trailer. He's also selling his business. They want his MC number. So they offered him, it was an older truck. They offered, I can't remember, it was $50,000, $70,000. And then he said, until we see how good this is and we want to make sure the truck runs okay, we might need to use it immediately. But what do you say we give you $5,000 a month? Guy said, sure. And he does it. So he sells his company and they capture his MC number. And now they legitimately own the MC number because they got a contract. But they really haven't bought it because they're only going to make payments. And they're only going to make one payment in this instance. So they made this single payment and were able to steal something. I think the load was $350,000 or $360,000. So for a $7,000 investment, they got all that. And who do you think law enforcement officials are calling? The guy who sold his business and didn't do all the proper registry when it was done.
Yeah, trying to be a nice guy, thinking he's helping somebody out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good deeds don't go unpunished. Right?
I did have one case that's interesting, though, that the good guy forgot to cancel his insurance, and that created a whole insurance mess.
Oh,
so it gets even worse. So there you go.
The entanglements go on and on.
Yeah.
What could you share a memorable case, something where you've recovered goods, or just a case that you find interesting?
Well, the funnest, craziest one I did was down in Rio Dulce, Guatemala. We were looking for a guy that.
For those who don't understand, that's Guatemala.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rio Dulce, Guatemala. Yeah. So that's on the eastern part. So that was interesting. We were really more looking for a guy who had absconded with a yacht or a fishing boat. So that was interesting. But probably the one where we actually had a recovery was a bunch of trucks that are by a very popular brand manufactured in Mexico, and they got a very powerful engine, and it's one of the two top desired trucks of the cartels. And there were two rigs going out, 6 trucks each, and one of the trucks broke down in the state of Michoacan, and Michoacan is a very dangerous area for cartel activity. And before you know it, it's one of the rival cartels had come into the area and weren't supposed to be there, but they stole the 6 trucks. And the only way we got a recovery was because on this one, they ran out of gas because they were headed to the port. And they only put just enough gas to load them up on the boat and take them off the boat. We got fortunate there and recovered 2 of those.
Gotcha.
Typically, it's because people have done the right technology. In the cases where I've had larger recoveries of greater value, it's because they put a tracking device in the pallet. They put lights. They used all the technology possible because they were going to ship a high value load and they wanted to protect it. They had proper GPS. They had proper monitoring and tracking, what you folks do at Vectura. They knew those things to do. And that's where we have the most success, when people are serious about what they're shipping. When they're casual about it, you're going to get a casual attitude, but you're going to get a very experienced corporation of high-end thieves. Cartels, for the example in Mexico, are ran by major organizations that hire local gangs to do their dirty work. And they're very good at what they do. And if you're lax about shipping, they're ready for you. That bear wants to eat who's ever the most vulnerable.
Yeah, kind of along those lines. Where do you put preparedness as part of this process? So as you look at your business and you're doing all the things associated with, I'm going to start shipping high value goods, or I'm a shipper. Pick any of the big guys in the world, right? I've got multi-million-dollar shipments going out. What's the process that should be gone through to understand how you should approach that?
I think one of the things that people make the mistake of, there's a casuality about shipping things. And if they're not treating it as if it's going to get stolen, an investigator like me can come in after the fact and find what's missing.
Yes.
And tell you everything that happened. The bigger question is, how did it really get to you? You have no idea. A lot of times it was just luck. So what we look at is we use a terminology called CAPS, and CAPS means Critical Action Plan and Strategy. So it means that you know exactly what to do, who to call. So you have a packet ready, digital packet ready. At the moment that there's an alert, you're contacting law enforcement, you're contacting all the people that matter. You've already got you contact all those folks, the insurance company, everybody that needs to know. But more importantly, many times, I had a case down in Mexico. Oh, no, I take that back. This was southern Texas, where the driver had left his tractor running, ran in to use the bathroom, comes back out, everything's gone. It wasn't the tractor he normally uses. It wasn't the trailer that he picks up. He had no idea his trailer number. He had no idea his tractor. All of his documentation was in there, even his cell phone. He had no way. But if he would have had a critical action plan and strategy, he could have called dispatch from that travel center and simply said, "It's me. I just got hit. And immediately things are going out. And that's why it's the lack of speed. I can get a case from an insurance company that's a day old because somebody called them and I'm on a plane. I'm going wherever I need to go. Jeff Hall used to do that all the time. I also get a lot of cases from an insurance company or an entity that said it was stolen 30 days ago. Good luck finding the equipment. Good luck finding especially the load.
Yeah, that makes sense. Time's so critical in the
It is.
process. So
Yeah.
being prepared.
Right.
cuts
And
that
CAPS
time down.
helps you do that. Yeah.
That's well said. That's well said. I just want to thank you very much, Curtis, for the time today. And if there's anything else you'd like to share, that'd be great. But if not, I really appreciate it.
I've got some really bad jokes, but I won't go there. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.